the Pandero, a powerhouse secondary by any standard. Its alt-fire is one of the most satisfying to use in the game, gives you that cowboy feel right from the get-go. But how good can it be when paired with a Riven Mod? I'm Deuce, and thanks in advance for watching. Stats-wise, the Pandero is pretty impressive. A Mastery Rank 8 secondary that doesn't have a lot going on, at least when you look at its damage numbers. But that's not where the value of this weapon lies. That you'll find plenty of in its critical and status potential. First, the crits. It has one of the highest critical chances for the category, same goes for its critical multiplier. From a status perspective, it may not look like much, but that 10% status is just what this weapon needs to be viable as a hybrid. Construction-wise, the Pandero is a bit on the expensive side. You need 40,000 credits, 20k for the blueprint, which can be found in the market, and another 20k for the foundry. 2 argon crystals, 4,500 circuits, 25,000 salvage, 5,500 cryotic, and a 12-hour waiting period. If you're like me, you'll find these costs a bit steep, especially due to the amount of cryotic it needs, but as with all good weapons, is well worth the effort. What makes the Pandero such a good weapon is its alt-fire, which allows you to empty its 8-bullet magazine in the blink of an eye. Bad thing is, you can't aim while doing that, and the recoil is pretty hard, which in turn makes it very difficult to use as a precision tool. Still, there are several things you can do to fix that. My personal favorite is to use the Pandero with Nidus. His larva bundles enemies up, and it's only a matter of calculating that recoil trajectory in order to take the most advantage of it while hitting every single enemy you've picked up. Combine this with the Pandero's very good reload speed, and you have a very steady go-to when you want to clean up mobs quick but you don't have the AoE abilities to do so. It's not that the regular semi-auto fire mode for this weapon is bad, it's just that the burst fire is so good and can be used to such an effect that it becomes the de facto choice when using the Pandero to its fullest potential. Talking about potential, this weapon has a 3 out of 5 Riven disposition, so if you get a good one you can definitely take it to the next level. In my case, I have this one, Pandero Visican, plus 281.9% damage, plus 143% multi-shot, and minus 53% status duration, which for a 3 out of 5 weapon is pretty good, not ideal but very good nonetheless. In terms of preferred stats, I would want aside damage and multi-shot, crit chance, crit damage, and if you're looking for intangibles or the best negatives to have, I'd say recoil. You see, the burst fire's horrible recoil is affected by recoil mods. Here you can see an example on how it could potentially work. On the left you have the weapon with steady hands, and on the right without this mod. The difference only a 60% recoil reduction produces, it's pretty big. So if you can get this stat on your Riven, keep it, since this is one of the weapons that benefits from it the most. Now let's get to the build. Nothing fancy, your typical 5-forma corrosive hybrid with the Riven on top. Luckily, this is also the best secondary build there is, at least till this day. Which makes that minus status duration a non-factor. Corrosive procs have no inherent duration on PvE, and this build doesn't rely on any other status effects to work. Ideally, you would want those slash procs to last a little bit more, but I believe it's a fair trade-off when considering the amount of extra power provided by the Riven. One thing of note is the incredible amount of multi-shot this build has, due to the fact that both Barrel Diffusion and Lethal Torrent combine with the Riven, something that adds even more projectiles to the Pandero's burst fire mode. That's the reason why you see so many damage numbers when unleashing the full might of the weapon. Having a 3 out of 5 disposition makes the Pandero somewhat of a gamble when it comes to Riven mods, since it's very dependent on a lucky roll to get some really good stats. However, this risk is easily offset when you take into account the potential reward, an absolute beast of a secondary that can be used for pretty much anything, from sweeping mods to taking down Eidolons. On its own, the Pandero is great, one of the best for its category, but with the right Riven it's so much more. So if you encounter one of these on your travels, give it a go. It only took 8 rolls for me to get these stats, but even if it takes more, you won't regret the investment. For my part, this has been all for now. If you enjoyed the video or you found it interesting, please consider giving it a like. Don't forget to subscribe for more Warframe content and follow me on Twitter to keep up to date with everything. Again, thank you very much for watching. Wherever you are, have an amazing day. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.